Alright, so this video will show you how to do manual differential correction. Manually downloading your base data from either TriGnet website or that ESCOM site. So like I said, the first thing you need to do is open your file and then open view and timeline. You need to see when the data was recorded, so you know which file to download manually. So click on this little zoom out, just to zoom out so you can see the date as well. Okay, so there's the date, 21st of February 2012. I can see that data was done more or less between 8 and 12. And then you can close this, and then you need to go to the website and you go to the TriGnet website, www.trignet.co.za. Okay, so if you don't have a login yet to the site, you go to register first, you fill in all your information. After you click next, it will ask you for a username and password that you can create yourself, and once you've done all the steps, they will email you when your account is ready, and you can just go and log in with your username and password. I'm just going to log in with mine. Click on login. Okay, so after you've logged in, you go to reference data shop and you click on start new order to order the data, the base data that you need. Okay, and then you choose continuously operating reference station. That's the base stations in South Africa, and there it shows you a map of all the base stations in Africa. So I've checked on Pathfinder. Remember we went through the steps to see which base station was the closest. We did differential correction as if we wanted to correct. Okay, so we know Durban base station is the closest. So if you can check on this map where Durban is, you can either click on Durban base station or you can just find it on this list here. There's Durban. So you click on Durban and then you say next. Then it will ask you for the date. When do you want to download the data? So remember, it was February 2012 and the 21st. That is when we want the data. Then it will ask you for start time. This is 6 o'clock in the morning. So remember, it was what, between 8 and 12, you can say. So let's download data from 8, and then it will ask you duration of data. It's about 4 hours. I'll leave it at 4.5 hours just to make sure we get enough data. And the intervals that you need is 1 second. 1 second interval data, because this unit of yours records 1 second. Okay, so that's the data that you need, and then you say next. And there's the data. Shows that it has data. If it doesn't find any data on that base station, it will tell you here at the top in the red, it will say no data found for station Durban or something like that. Then you know there's no data available for that day. Okay. Okay, let's change it to, sorry about that. Alright, so there's your data, and then you can click on next for delivery options. And then you need to convert this data, so always convert it to Rhinex 2.11. Okay, that's the latest version of the Rhinex file format. and then you click on generate data, and there it starts to generate the data for you. So you just have to wait until this process is finished. Alright, then you click on next again to download that file that we've just generated. So then you just click on download over here, and then you can save it anywhere you want. I normally make a folder. See this folder I've made for just Eskom base station, Durban base station data that I've made on my desktop. So I'll suggest that you make a folder and you always just add all the base data in the same folder. I'll show you now why, because when you process, then you only have one folder to choose every time. So I'm just going to create a new folder here. And I'll call it TrickNet Durban base data. Durban. Durban. Capital. And then I'll save there. Right, just wait for it to download. I can pause. Alright, so it's finished downloading. I'll just close this. I'm just going to minimize that. So that's in that folder that I put on my desktop. So when I go and do differential correction now, click on utilities, differential correction. Just wait for it to open. There we go. Alright, so there's my file. Click on next, next, next. So here I don't choose base provider search, I say folder search. Okay, so then I go and select and browse to that folder. And I go and find that folder on my desktop. Here it is, TrickNet Durban base data. That's where I save that file. And I'll say OK, OK again, and I'll put this option. Normally this option is on this, use reference version from base provider. That is when you use download automatically from a base, but now I'm going to use base files. So I click on that, make sure this is also ticked on, and then you go next. And then I like to choose this option so it uses the same folder as where I've put the.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
Or you confirm the base and permission before processing?
Yes. I'd like to see if it's covered for 100%. That's why I tick this thing on before I process the data. I'll show you what
so
now.
Are doing automatically or not? You must check it.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'll show you now why when we do the processing. And then you start. So I always tick this thing on so it uses the same folder as where I've taken that SSF file out, so it puts this corrected file back into that same folder. Okay, and also I choose this option, it doesn't overwrite any files. It will create a new name if there's an existing file of the same name. And you click on start, and then it says search complete, and then it will tell you if it's found base data in that folder. You'll see now. There we go. 68% coverage, then I know something's wrong. Okay, it didn't download all the data, or I made a mistake when I did the time, so I can't confirm this. So if that other thing was not ticked on, it wouldn't ask you here to confirm. It will just carry on, and will only process 68% of your data, so the other 32% will be missing or gone. Okay, so now I see, okay, I don't have any data there from TrickNet. It doesn't mean that TrickNet didn't have the data. Maybe I didn't download all the data, or that's why I say I always download data 2 or 3 hours before they start the job, and then 3 or 4 hours after they start the job, so you have enough data so something like this doesn't happen. So I'm not going to go back to TrickNet again because his internet connection is a bit slow. Let's download the base data from Eskom. Okay, and then you process exactly the same way as this.
So the key it will be time adjustment.
Yeah, so I'm just going to cancel this.